Hey everyone, back in the garage with the general, kind of a big update. Been doing lots of stuff over the last few days, back to work after the new year, but got a lot done. You can see it is a little messy now, but one of the big things I've done is I've added, this is a Super ATV flip up windshield. It also has the vent position on the switch there, or on the handle. You can actually see, so it's in the lock position. This bar here would be for the vent, and then of course it also flips up as well. And then other things I've done, I've completed the wiring on my front lights. Also completed the wiring here on my front strobe, and then on the back I've also got my lights here, and these are all switch controlled through the center console. And then I've also got as well 2 strobes on the back. And then one of the things that I was reading about not too long ago was if you want to wiring backup lights, and I do have plans to do this, but in the harness right here, and these were kind of tucked down in here, there are two wires right here. One of these has 12 volt power, and I'm not positive if the other one is ground. It's not showing continuity with ground, but one of them is showing 12 volts of power when you put the machine in reverse. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using these LED bolt lights, but you can see these are, again, these came off of Amazon. Very, very, very fine wiring here. So I'm going to use 2 on each side. My plan is to wire them in directly. I'm not going to use a relay because they are low voltage. They'll be low amperage, low draw. I'm just going to wire them straight in when I get to that point. I am going to have to make up a bracket because this piece right here, close the, when you look on the back, you would initially think maybe you could put them in here. I'm thinking a couple of options. One is some kind of bracket back here. The other is I might just come in here and drill underneath the tail light here. I might just drill in right here and put it right there. And that's kind of leading right now. There's this panel right here. There's one bolt or one screw. You remove that, this panel pops off, and there's an access hole in here. So to get to the wiring, to wire this in, should be really, really simple to do. That's still on the to-do list. Obviously not finished yet. Up here in the front, I'll open the hood. So I've basically got all my wiring under the hood complete at this point. You can see, kind of go up high here. You can see I've got everything relatively nice and neat. So I've got my, again, coming in off of the distribution block here, of course ground, and then I have a ground strip right here, and then power, and then what I've got is battery power that comes into my relay, and then this is wired into the key on trigger. So there's a trigger here, comes in, turns this on, goes through an 80 amp circuit breaker, and then goes to my fuse block. And then of course most of my things that I'm running have relays. I know this isn't the nicest and neatest thing, but it's still pretty clean overall, and I'm very pleased with the way it turned out. Also too, you'll notice I do have a Siren Speaker. I'll demo that in just a minute. And that's what this box is. This is actually, it's a digital controller. I have another video on my channel that talks more about this, but that's what's inside here, and all that's controlled. I can, at any point, I can remove the screws. I also decided to, this is Velcroed in. If I need to remove it at any point, I can always do that very, very easily. So let me get in the machine and kind of show you what I've got inside here. I've still not yet wired up my my dome lights. I decided to go the wire along the back. What I'm going to do is I'm thinking of a couple of things. One is down here a plunger switch. The only thing I'm concerned about is getting into the machine. When you get in, you stand a really good chance of bumping that switch. And I'm not real crazy about that idea. So what I'm thinking of doing, this panel here is accessible from under the machine. I'm thinking of putting just a small switch right here that can be tapped, and that will turn on the light. So that way when you approach the machine, I can put one on either side. When you approach the machine, it'll make it very, very easy to turn on the light, make it easy to handle. But that's still on the to-do list. And part of my wiring that I have for my lights, for my front light bar, is I do have the harness that's inside here. I got this loose right now. I'm still finishing some things up. But I've got that wiring harness in here. I will probably, again, I'll probably run that up through the back pillar, because with the windshield, there's not really a good place to conceal any wiring. So I think I'm gonna go underneath here. I'll go through the tunnel under the seat like I've done with the rest of the wiring going to the back. Go up the B pillar, and then go back through here. I'll have to put some extensions on it, but that's no big deal. But let me turn it on here and kind of show you, give you a grand tour of everything. So what I've got is, for the front lights, you can see comes on, and then I also have my my rear lights, and you can see very, very bright in the back. Those make great backup lights, and rear view lights. I mentioned before the whole flux capacitor thing. So I've got my strobes going, and again you can see them flashing in the back. What I've done is I don't have a strobe controller. I just have them linked together. This switch here, I've got this connected to the sync cable. So when I tap it, it grounds out and it changes the mode. And if I remember correctly, these Phoenix lights have, I think it's 7 modes. And every time I tap it, it grounds out and switches the mode. So I've got that done. My fan controller, I don't have this plugged in right now. And of course my USB and voltmeter is here. And then my winch control, which came from the factory. And then I've got my my Razorback gauge, which is lit up, and that's been working great. And then down here underneath my portable speaker, I've got my oil check sensor, which goes out when the engine's running. The other thing I got, and I got this off Amazon. My wife gave me this for Christmas. This is a tablet slash phone holder, fully adjustable. Just goes into the cup holder, and seems to work pretty well. If anything that's loose, it's actually the cup holder itself that's loose just from the fit. But overall, still good. I've got an Android tablet I can put on here when I'm writing. Anyway, so the other thing I've got here is this switch here. This is what controls the siren. It is a momentary switch. I actually, on my controller box, I have I've actually got I have not finished wiring this in yet, but I actually have a rotary switch because it has 4 positions. I'm going to get, I didn't like the mounting of this. This switch was originally over here. I moved it over to this side, and then I've actually got a plug coming. I'm going to plug this up and then run this in. I'll have 4 select positions. That way, when I change this, I'll be able to select from one of the 4 tones that I have. So I've got that, and I should have that wrapped up this weekend. The other thing I've got too, is, I think I mentioned before, I replaced this LED. If you look down here in the footwell, you can see there is an LED here, but it disperses quite a lot. So I'm going to replace this one and also the one on this side, same position. I'm going to replace that one with the brighter LED. And then one other feature that I got, this was a Christmas present for my mother, was I got an additional glove box down here. This is by a company out of Washington State called Mountain Fit. You just install it. It has a fully removable box, so I've put all my tow straps in here and my trailer equipment. I put that in here, and then what it has, it's a little dim down here, but there's a bar. Let me get a flashlight. There's a bar down there that's attached with 3M double-sided tape, and then the panel that's on the other side pops in. You drill some holes, pop it in, and put that down there. This thing is really, really nice, very well made, and you put it in, and you can see that there's a latch down there to keep it in place, to keep it from popping out. I'm really, really pleased with that because there's not a ton of storage in the cabin on the General. You have the glove box, the center console, but and actually the space in here is not bad, but that was something I just thought was a neat idea. I will say the guys at Mountain Fit, my mom had to call them a couple of times with some questions about the order. She said they were super, super nice, very, very easy to deal with, and but anyway, so that's kind of an update of where I am right now. I do still have a couple of other things. I've got my Axiom A-arm guards that I've still got to put on, and then I also have the Super ATV frame stiffener for the General, and I think it also fits the Razor as well. But that's going to go on down here, and once that's done, I'll do a video featuring that. But overall, it's really coming together. Look forward to getting in on some trails and really playing around with this quite a bit. I appreciate any comments you want to add to the video, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe, watch my other videos, and I appreciate it. Thank you.